Hey, what's up? Welcome to Accounting is Business with Albert the CPA. Today, I want to talk about, dare I say, the most important part of that accounting puzzle that I'm always referencing, bookkeeping. Step one to everything. So, we're going to dive into the what, the how, and why it's important. All right, so that I don't overtalk it like I normally do, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so diving right into the video, y'all know how we start this. We're going to start with our church announcement. So, if you would be as so kind, I know you've seen a thing pop up maybe a couple times by now. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel and turn on that notification bell so you know when we post. Hopefully, it's every week on Wednesdays, but we figuring all this out, so we don't know. Hopefully. But anyways, go ahead, hit subscribe, and definitely turn on that notification bell. Also, follow me on social media at AlberttheCPA on Instagram, AlberttheCPA on Twitter. We're Right Choice Accounting Solutions on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm Albert C. Hurston Jr., CPA on LinkedIn. Where else are we, Lauren? I think that's all of it. All of it's going to be in the description anyways. But, y'all watch YouTube. I got to tell y'all this. Let's go ahead and dive into our topic of the week. We're here to talk about bookkeeping. So let's get into it. So, of course, if you're talking about any topic and you want to do a good job, you're going to start with the what it is. So, what is bookkeeping? Simply put, bookkeeping is the recording, the categorizing, and the reconciliation or reconciling of the financial transactions of a business. What this means is it ensures that everything that's happening within the business financially is being recorded into the accounting system. And when I say accounting system, nowadays, all I mean is QuickBooks, Xero. I think Sage has some or that sort of thing. But just for intents and purposes of this, the intents and purposes of this video, we're going to stick with QuickBooks. That's what my company uses. So QuickBooks is going to be synonymous with accounting system. Okay, so I can sometimes oversimplify or, talk as if people know what I'm talking about. So let me dive in a little bit deeper on what I mean by recording, what I mean by categorizations, and what I mean by reconciliation. So I'll start with recording. First and foremost, recording is simply what it sounds like. Everything that's happening within the business is being recorded into the financial system or the accounting system. This simply means, or nowadays, this simply means running all of your transactions through a business bank account and connecting it with your QuickBooks and ensuring that everything is there. Once we can ensure that everything's there, we can begin categorizing. Categorizing simply means putting assets in asset accounts, liabilities and liability accounts, equity and equity account or ownership accounts, revenues and revenue accounts, and expenses and expense accounts. So just simply put is at this point in the game, you are recording everything and putting everything where it goes. So if you want to think of an analogy, think about a secretary with a stack of papers on her desk. She has a stack of papers on her desk. She has to go to her filing cabinet and she has to put these in the places that they go. Is that a good analogy? Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that analogy. You see, I came right off the top with that. But once you are recorded and categorized, now you're ready to reconcile. And this is typically done in monthly cycles. So once all of the transactions are recorded and categorized for a month, you can typically start your reconciliation process, start your reconciliation process. Sorry, can't talk. So what that means is you're literally taking your bank statements, your bank activity, and you're reconciling it to what is actually in your accounting system. So it's ensuring that everything that has cleared the bank has also cleared your accounting system. And that's how you know that everything you're doing, if you're doing it correctly, running everything through your business account, is being recorded into your accounting system. So just from a very high level, basic understanding of what bookkeeping is, that's it. And just in my long-windedness about describing what it is, I kind of went ahead and described how it's done. But to just get a little bit more into the, description of that, how it's done is fairly simple. You want to start yourself a business bank account and you want to run all of your transactions, all of your business-related transactions through that business banking account. And when you connect that account to your accounting software, i.e. QuickBooks, everything is being recorded into your system, it's flowing from your bank into your system, and all you have to do is categorize it. So most of us know if I sell something, I got some revenue. So you sell something, You get that money into your bank account, it flows through to your accounting system. Guess what you do in your accounting system? You categorize it as a revenue. I spend some money on marketing. All right. I make that purchase, clears my bank account, flows through to my accounting system. I go into my accounting system and I categorize that as a marketing expense. And bookkeeping can be just that simple if you start at the concept and ensure that you're keeping a really good track of what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. It really can be just that simple. And before I move on here, I do want to make sure that I say that there'll probably be a much longer, more detailed video on the actual how's it done piece at some point. But just for basic understanding, this is it, y'all. We're here to keep it simple. So moving along, why it's important. It's important because having your bookkeeping set up is going to keep you organized financially. It's going to keep you in compliance with banks, investors. If you need something from a bank, they're typically going to ask you for your financial statements. Having your bookkeeping in order allows you to go in and pull accurate financial statements. So that's going to handle your compliance. That's going to handle your basic organization. And most importantly, it's going to set the stage for the higher level tax and accounting strategy for your business. So this is step one. The most important reason that this is most important is because it's step one. Nothing else on top of bookkeeping or what that comes after bookkeeping can be done before accurate bookkeeping is done. So that's why I say it's number one. That's why I say it's most important, because it's what starts the whole thing. Okay, I think that's it. Is that everything, Lauren? Because we're not diving too deep into this stuff. We just want basic understanding so people know what it is. So we ready to move on? Yeah, I think we're ready to move on. All right. So as you guys know, next segment is Ask Albert the CPA, where we pick a question and answer that if it along. We pick a question and we answer that question as long as it goes along with what we're talking about that week. So this isn't the best fit, but we're early on, so we don't have a whole bunch. So we just pick one. We figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, this person. Do we know what this person is? We are going to do a better job of making note of who's asking these questions. And this question, let me read it. So, hey Albert, won't type a long email here. Just want to know if you can shed some light on how to start my business from scratch. So, I guess the question here is, what are the steps to starting your business from scratch? And I wish I could tag you, but we don't know. We don't know who you are. I'm sorry. But I hope you're watching this video. And maybe we can do that. Maybe we can go back and refind it and tag them or send it to them. Anyways, sorry. We're gonna fix that. But I did get a second to just prepare my answer to this, so I'm gonna just read it to you. And before I do that, though, if you are someone who wants to get your question answered, please email me at askalbertthecpa@gmail.com or comment down below, and somebody on the team will be able to pull that, and we're going to make sure that they pull your name as well. So moving along, what are the steps to starting a business from scratch? This will at some point become a much longer, more detailed video about the what and the why. But just to go down the list and give you some things to research, I'm going to rattle them off for you. So my eyes are going to be on my notes for a second. So I got to say this, first and foremost, it depends. Depends on your goals, depends on how much money you're coming in with, depends on how much money your business can potentially make. But you did say starting from scratch, so I'm going to read that as starting from nothing. You think that's fair, Lauren? Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is pick an entity. The reason you want to pick an entity is because you want to go ahead and get this business separated from you personally. You don't want any personal dealings with this business. So the very first thing you should do is pick the entity that works best for your goals. For most companies that are started from scratch, that is going to be an LLC. I do not like sole proprietorships because it does not offer exactly what I'm talking about here, liability protection. So honestly, for most companies, it's going to be between LLC being taxed as an S corp, or corporation, depending on if you are bringing in investors, issuing stock, blah, blah, blah. But definitely consult a professional here. So now moving on through my list, it'll be a little bit quicker than that, I promise. So first and foremost, pick your entity. Pick the most advantageous entity for what you're trying to accomplish. Secondly, get an EIN. An EIN is going to be like the social security number for your business. Again, we want to make sure that we're setting this business up completely separate from us personally. Third thing, start a business bank account with that registered entity and EIN. And once you start that business bank account, you want to run all business related transactions through that bank account. If you need to continue to use your personal funds to fund the business, like most of us have at first, you transfer those funds into that business bank account and you run the business through that account. That is going to protect your liability. That's going to make things easier for you, and it'll make bookkeeping a lot easier. Once you have your business bank account set up, you want to go ahead and sign up for an accounting software. We use QuickBooks around here. I'm assuming that QuickBooks is still the industry standard, but there are also other popular ones like Xero. But just for intents and purposes, the one that we're most familiar with and the one that most people use is QuickBooks. So go ahead, sign up for QuickBooks, connect that business bank account to your QuickBooks, and that will ensure all of your business activity is flowing through to your accounting system. Even if you're not categorizing it yet, that will ensure that everything is flowing through to that system. And then just some bonuses, some moving along just and building a business. First things first, you're going to see a lot of opposing opinions on this, but the very first thing that you need to figure out in that business, once you have it registered and have everything set up, you got to figure out sales and lead generation. Once you get consistent leads, and if you don't know what leads are, those are potential sales that you may convert in the future, but you need sales and you need lead generation. If you can figure out sales and lead generation, there is nothing else in that business that can be figured out because money's coming in. If money's coming in and you're not wasting it and spending it on frivolous stuff, everything operationally can be figured out. So definitely start with your sales and lead generation processes. Moving along on the list, after that, we're just going to account for everything that we do in our accounting system. So we do want to get in and start categorizing. And is that enough? I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I could go on and on and on. So that's enough for now. But pro tip, as you're getting all this stuff started, go ahead and get started with Dun & Bradstreet. At some point in business, you're going to need business credit. Dun & Bradstreet is the, I guess I'll say, the Equifax of business credit. They're the major player. So go ahead and get registered with them. Go ahead and start researching which net 30 accounts you can use for your business. And start that early on so that you can go ahead and start building up some of that business credit. And that's pretty much it, starting from scratch. There are, businesses super elaborate, so I could go on and on and on, because at the point in business we're at, I think I might have gave you 10 to 12 steps. We're at probably step 50. But I'm assuming you don't have time to sit here and listen to me go through 50 steps, so I'm gonna just stop here. I'm gonna stop here. You wanna stop here? We're gonna stop here. All right, so we would typically get into our final segment here, but since I have talked so much through the first two segments, we're not going to drag you guys through that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap from here. But in the future, there will be another segment where we just chop it up, about something that's, a little bit lighter than our typical how-tos and business tips and ask Albert the CPAs. But we won't do that this week. We don't want this video to be super duper long. So we're going to wrap it up. As always, remember, accounting isn't boring. Accountants may be boring, but accounting is business.